Do you think I'm blind? Something's wrong and you know it.
You don't get to demand answers anymore.
The engines rumbled to a stop, and the look on their faces was priceless. Piece by piece, her perfect world slipped away while I watched in silence. She still has no idea that every moment of this reckoning was set in motion by me. Yeah. That's me on the porch. The quiet guy with his hands in his pockets while two moving trucks suck the life out of his own house like a pair of metal vultures. My name's Eric. The woman standing in the driveway with her jaw halfway to the asphalt. That's my wife, Madison. And the guy next to her, frozen like a kid caught stealing candy, is Tyler, her fitness coach, her colleague, her just a friend. Pick any lie, she used it. Madison is still in her silk robe, the same one she used to wear when she'd tell me she was too tired for anything, but apparently never too tired to be on her phone at 2 a.m., giggling into the screen like a teenager. Now the robe is half open, her hair a mess, mascara smudged from whatever they were doing before the engines outside ripped their little fantasy apart. "What is this?" she finally spits out, voice sharp enough to cut glass. "Eric, what the hell is this?" I don't answer. That's the fun part. I've already said everything that matters, to the bank, to the lawyer, to the movers. Today is not about words. Today is about watching her realize she's not the only one who knows how to play dirty. The movers swing open the truck doors and start hauling out her world. The designer couch she made me finance because guests need to be impressed. The marble coffee table she said was an investment. The huge ring light she bought to film her content. All boxed, all tagged, all already legally mine. Tyler shifts beside her, trying to act like a man. "Hey, dude, you can't just..." I look at him, just once, and whatever he was about to say dies in his throat. He has no idea how deep this goes. He thinks this is just a jealous husband finally finding out about some late-night messages and losing his mind. He doesn't know there are screenshots. He doesn't know there are recordings. He doesn't know there were months of me pretending not to see, not to hear, not to feel her sliding further away every day while she smiled in my face and called me babe. Madison stomps toward me, heels clicking on the concrete. "Eric, explain. Now, why are they taking my things? Why are there two trucks here? Are you insane?" Her things. That word almost makes me laugh. I tilt my head. "You mean the furniture I paid for? The house I pay for? The lease I rewrote? Those things." The moment I mention the lease, something flickers behind her eyes. A tiny, almost invisible crack in her confidence. She knows I changed something recently. She just never cared enough to ask what. She folds her arms and switches to her favorite role, the cold, dismissive queen. "You're being dramatic. You're not actually allowed to do this. I'll call the police." "Please do," I say calmly. "Ask them which name is on the lease now." Tyler glances at her, then at me. What is he talking about? Madison's mouth tightens. She doesn't have an answer. Not one that makes her look as in control as she always pretends to be. Behind her, one of the movers carries out the big, framed photo from our wedding. Madison in white, me in black, both of us smiling like we believed in forever. The guy doesn't know what to do with it, so he holds it up for a second, looking for direction. "Trash," I say. He nods and keeps walking. Madison flinches. Small, but I see it. The first real crack. "You're being cruel," she hisses. "Overreacting because you're paranoid. You always twist things in your head. Eric, you're imagining stuff." That's her favorite line. Whenever she was caught in a corner, she twisted reality so hard you'd think she could bend metal. I used to doubt myself. Used to wonder if I was actually crazy. That was before the hotel receipts. Before the lipstick on his hoodie in our laundry basket. Before the audio I recorded when she thought I was on a business trip. I stepped closer, close enough to smell her perfume. The same one I noticed on my car seat when I knew I hadn't driven anywhere with her in weeks. "You sure I imagined everything?" I ask quietly. "All of it." For the first time, there's a flash of panic. Quick, controlled, but it's there. Before she can answer, another mover walks past carrying out her beloved vanity. The altar where she spent hours painting on a face she never showed me anymore, just her followers and her private clients. The mirror catches her reflection as it goes by. Wild hair, nervous eyes, robe slipping, standing between her husband and her lover, while strangers dismantle the stage she built her little double life on. "Stop them," she snaps at Tyler. "Tell them to put it back." He lifts his hands uselessly. I don't think that's how this works, Maddie." She whirls on me again. "You're not throwing me out of my own home. I'll call my lawyer. I'll ruin you for this." I smile just a little. "You should have your lawyer return my emails first. I sent him everything." Her face drains of color. Tyler frowns. "Everything what?" Madison doesn't answer. Because she knows. She knows exactly what everything means. The messages, the hotel photos, the little video clip where she laughs and tells him he's too soft to ever leave. "I can do anything I want." Another box goes by. Another piece of her kingdom disappears into the belly of the truck. The engines are quiet now, but the echo of that first rumble is still in the air. That was the sound of a line finally being crossed in the other direction. Not by her, not by Tyler, but by me. The quiet guy on the porch who finally decided to stop bleeding in silence and start writing the ending. Madison points at me, hand shaking with rage. "You think this is over? You think you've won? You're pathetic, Eric. You'll crawl back just like you always do." I look past her, at the open front door, at the empty hallway behind it, at the life we built now being packed into boxes and legal terms. For a second, a memory hits me. Her laughing in this driveway the day we moved in, jumping into my arms, whispering, "This is our fresh start, baby." My chest tightens, but I don't let it show. Not now. Not in front of her. Not in front of him. "Madison," I say softly, "this is the first time I'm not crawling anywhere." She opens her mouth to fire back. But something else happens first. My phone buzzes in my pocket. The name on the screen makes my heartbeat change tempo. Because the person calling is the reason I know everything. And if Madison thinks the moving trucks are the worst part of today, she has no idea what's coming next. The name on the screen is the last person Madison ever wanted in this story. "Hold that thought," I say, stepping back from her. I don't wait for permission. I just answer. "Eric," comes the calm voice on the other end. "It's done. Just got confirmation. The account is frozen." She can't touch a cent. Madison stiffens. She can't hear the words exactly, but she knows that tone, controlled, professional, dangerous in the quiet way. "Thanks, Daniel," I reply. "You've done enough. I'll handle the rest from here." I hang up. Daniel Hayes, divorce lawyer. The first real choice I made in months. Funny thing, I didn't go to him because I caught them in bed. I went because of a late electricity bill. 3 months ago, I found a shut-off notice stuffed in the drawer by the fridge. Madison said she'd take care of all the boring house stuff, since I was too stressed with work. I believed her, for a while. But that letter had my name on it, and it said the bill hadn't been paid in months. That was the first crack I couldn't ignore. I remember that night like a movie on loop. Madison was in the bedroom on her phone, laughing. The door was half closed. When I walked past, she quickly turned her body, as if she could physically hide the sound of another man's voice. "Everything okay?" I asked. She rolled her eyes. "You scared me. I'm on a call with Jenna. We're talking about the influencer event. Can you not hover?" Hover. That's what she called it when I tried to get close. Hovering. I went back to the kitchen, opened my laptop, and logged into the bank account. Password denied. Tried again. Denied. I knew she'd changed it a while back for security reasons. But something in my chest felt wrong this time. So I did something I hadn't done in years. I logged into my separate old account. The one I kept from before the marriage. The one my salary still hit first before most of it auto-transferred into our joint account. The balance of my old account looked healthy. The joint account, though, when I finally got access to the statements through my own bank rep the next day, that was a different story. Withdrawals. Constant. High-end stores. Hotel charges. Transfers to an account with the name M. Lane Consulting. Madison's maiden name was Lane. Madison did not consult anyone except maybe her makeup artist and her reflection. When I confronted her the next night, she didn't flinch. She didn't apologize. She didn't even hesitate. "You're really going through my accounts now?" she scoffed. "That's controlling, Eric. I'm building a brand. You said you supported me. Brands cost money. And the hotels?" I asked. "You building a brand in room 507 3 times a month?" She crossed her arms, lips curling into that cruel, almost smile. "Wow, so now I can't treat myself to a night away? You complain I'm always stressed, but the second I try to decompress, you act like I'm betraying you. You seriously need help." She made me feel like a villain for asking why our power was about to be cut off. That night, I slept on the couch. She didn't come to get me. She didn't even ask if I was coming to bed. The only light in the house was the glow from under the bedroom door and the giggles slipping through it. The next morning, I called Daniel. Now, standing in the driveway, I watch her eyes search my face like she can read in my pupils how much of her little empire I've already dismantled. "What did you do?" she whispers, voice thin. I shrug slowly. "You know how you're always telling me I should be more decisive? Congratulations. You finally got what you wanted." Tyler steps forward, trying to puff himself up. "Look, man, whatever's going on between you two, dragging her stuff out into the street, isn't it? This is her life." "No," I say, turning to him. "This is my house, my money, my credit, my name on the loans. Her life is on that phone, in those messages, in those hotel rooms you two couldn't stay away from." His face twitches. "You don't know what you're talking about." I reach into my pocket, pull out my second phone, the cheap one I bought just for this. The one with the recordings. I tap a file and hit play. Madison's voice fills the air, crystal clear. "He's clueless." She laughs on the recording. "I could be gone all night and say I was at a spa, and he'd ask if I had fun. He's useful. That's it. Tyler, you're the one who actually makes me feel alive." The sound hits like a slap. The movers keep working because they're paid by the hour, but even they slow down, glancing over their shoulders. The words hang in the space between us, wrapping around the porch, the driveway, the boxes. Tyler's shoulders sag. Madison's face drains of color again, then flushes red, then twists into rage. "You recorded me?" she shouts. "You're seriously insane. That's illegal. That's creepy. That's desperate." I lock eyes with her. "You know what's really desperate? Stealing from me to fund your little double life and expecting me to smile through it." She opens her mouth to spit fire, but a car door slams down the street. A black sedan. Calm, deliberate. The person stepping out isn't a cop. Someone worse for her. Because this isn't just about moving trucks and bank accounts. This is about the day Madison learns that the quiet man she thought she owned has been quietly turning the world against her. The man who steps out of the black sedan doesn't look like a cop or a friend. He looks like trouble wrapped in a suit. Dark tie, leather folder in hand, calm as stone. He walks toward the driveway with the kind of unhurried confidence that says he's been here before. Not in this house, but in this moment. The moment when someone's life gets split into before and after. "Mr. Carter?" he asks, eyes on me. "Yeah," I answer. Madison cuts in, already annoyed. "No, I'm Mrs. Carter. Whatever this is, you can go through me." My husband clearly isn't thinking straight. He barely looks at her. "I'm here for Eric Carter," he repeats, firm. "From the county clerk's office." He raises the folder slightly. "And on behalf of Mr. Hayes." Daniel again. Of course. I nod toward the porch. "Right here's fine." He opens the folder, flips through, pulls out a small stack of papers clipped together. "Mr. Carter," he says clearly, like he's reading lines he's read 1,000 times. "This is confirmation that your petition has been filed and accepted. Temporary orders have been granted as requested. Your spouse has been notified electronically. These are your copies." Madison laughs. Actually laughs. "Petition? Temporary orders? What is this, some theatrical stunt? Eric, are you serious right now?" The man glances at her, then back at me. In addition, he says, per the judge's ruling, the temporary financial freeze applies to all joint assets pending division. Your wife has already been notified by email. Access is suspended. The word freeze hits Madison like a bucket of ice water. Excuse me? She snaps. You can't freeze my money. I have work. I have deals. I have. The man stays polite. All accounts under the Carter name fall under this order until further review. If you have independent income, Ms. Lane, Mrs. Carter, she hisses. He doesn't flinch. You may speak with your counsel. For now, the order stands. I take the papers from him. My hands don't shake. I thought they might. They don't. What did you do? Madison whispers, turning to me slowly. The rage is still there, but now it's mixed with something else. Real fear. I meet her eyes. You kept telling me you could do anything you wanted and I'd never leave. So I left first. I just didn't walk out the door. Tyler mutters, "This is getting out of hand, man." The suited guy closes his folder. "One more thing," he adds. "The car registered in your name, Mr. Carter, has been moved out of joint property classification per documentation from your purchase date. The dealership has been informed. Any disputes will be handled through your attorney." Madison blinks. "What car?" I look at her. "The SUV you keep calling your car because you picked the color." Her mouth opens, then shuts. Suddenly, the driveway looks like a stage where she's forgotten her lines. The man nods once, professional to the end. "You have my card if you need clarifications." He hands it to me, not to her, then walks back to the sedan and drives away like it's just another Tuesday. For him, it probably is. For Madison, it's the day gravity changed. She rounds on me, eyes wild. "You blindsided me, Eric. You actually went behind my back and did all this? Are you out of your mind?" "That's the thing," I say quietly. "For the first time in a long time, I'm not." "You're ruining everything," she screams. "My brand, my plans, my life. Our life," I correct. "You ruined that part all by yourself." She scoffs, tossing her hair back like she's on camera. "You're acting like a victim. No one forced you to stay. If you were so miserable, you could have left instead of plotting like some sneaky coward." It's almost funny, hearing the word coward from the woman who spent months sneaking around hotel corridors thinking she'd never get caught. Leaving quietly would have been easy, I admit. You don't deserve easy. For a heartbeat, everything goes still. Then a phone buzzes. Not mine this time. Hers. She pulls it out, glances at the screen, and her expression flickers. Just for half a second. But I see it. Another blow. "What is it?" Tyler asks. She doesn't answer. But I already know. I've seen the emails. I've seen the contracts. When I sent those anonymous messages with screenshots to the brands that paid her to be the face of loyal love and healthy relationships, I knew it would eventually land. Her thumb flies across the screen as she scrolls. Her lips move, whispering parts of the words. "Due to recent information, no longer aligns with our values. Terminate partnership effective immediately." She looks up at me, eyes burning. "You did this. You built a house of glass," I say. "I just opened the window." For a moment, I think she's going to slap me. Her hand even twitches. Instead, she turns and shoves Tyler in the chest. "Why are you just standing there?" she yells. "Say something. Do something. Don't just watch him humiliate me." He throws his hands up. "What do you want me to do, Maddie? Fight his lawyer? He's got everything lined up. You told me he'd never have the guts to actually push back." Her face twists with disgust. "So you're useless too." And just like that, the man she blew up our life for becomes disposable in a single sentence. I watch it all unfold. The trucks, the frozen accounts, the dropped deals, the crumbling facade. And somewhere under the anger, under the betrayal, something else starts to grow. Not joy, not yet. Just the quiet realization that, for the first time in a long time, I'm not the one standing there begging to be chosen. Madison stands there, breathing hard, as if the air itself betrayed her. Her perfect posture, The one she always bragged about, the one she filmed tutorials for, teaching other women how to stand like they own the world. Starts to crumble. Shoulders tense. Chin trembling. Eyes darting like a predator suddenly realizing it isn't at the top of the food chain. Eric, she says, voice shaking but still coated in venom. You don't get to destroy me just because you're insecure. This isn't strength, it's obsession. You've been waiting for a moment like this, haven't you? You finally got to feel powerful. I don't flinch. Power? I didn't want power. I wanted honesty. I wanted a wife who didn't treat me like a temporary inconvenience until something more exciting came along. But now, power feels like oxygen. Tyler steps away from her, inch by inch, like a man realizing he wandered into a fire he's not equipped to handle. His bravado melted the moment reality entered the driveway. Look, Maddie, he starts, rubbing the back of his neck. Maybe we should just figure this out later. She snaps her head toward him. Later? You coward. This is happening because of you. Because you made me think he wouldn't do anything. Because you told me he was weak. Tyler's face reddens. You told me he was clueless. You said he'd never find out. You said, oh, please, she spits. Don't act shocked now. You loved being the secret. You loved sneaking around like some cheap thrill. Cheap thrill. Her own words cut her deeper than mine ever could. She hears them as she says them, and something shifts. Not remorse, not regret, just panic. The panic of someone who realizes the room has more mirrors than she noticed. I take a slow step forward. Funny, isn't it? You turned our marriage into a joke, and now you're offended that the punchline isn't yours. Her eyes narrow to slits. You think this makes you a hero? You think anyone will sympathize with you? Men don't get cheated on, they get replaced. People will laugh at you, not me. Ah, there's the real Madison, the woman who measured her worth by how many people watched her, envied her, pretended to want her life. I exhale. I'm not interested in sympathy. I'm interested in truth. That's what creeps say when they get caught doing something sick. She fires back. Recording me? Stalking my accounts? Freezing my money? You're deranged. I shrug. Deranged works better than delusional. Tyler tries again, softer now. Maybe we should leave. Let him cool off. Madison whirls around, getting in his face. Leave? You want to leave me now? After everything I gave up for you. He holds his ground, barely. What exactly did you give up? Those 6 words rip the floor out from beneath her. Because Madison wasn't used to people asking her questions. She lived on statements, commands, demands. She never expected to defend herself. Her voice cracks, just a hairline fracture. I risked everything. I tilt my head. Risked? Or traded? Because you didn't give anything up. You just took from both sides and expected both men to applaud. Her lip trembles. She hates that. Vulnerability wasn't part of her brand. You blindsided me, she whispers. You turned into someone I don't even recognize. No, I answer softly. I finally stopped being the man you could lie to. Silence. Not peaceful, loaded. Heavy. Like the house itself is holding its breath. One of the movers drops a box accidentally. It hits the pavement with a dull thud. The sound jolts Madison, as if reality just slapped her awake. How long? She asks suddenly, voice hoarse. How long have you been planning this? Since the first night you told me, I'm going out with the girls and came home smelling like a hotel pillow. I reply. Her face warps, cycling through emotions like a glitching screen. Shock, denial, arrogance, fear, rage, and finally something close to desperation. You could have talked to me, she mumbles. I laugh, not loudly, but honestly. Talk? You don't talk, Madison. You perform. You narrate. You curate emotions for strangers and call it intimacy. You don't know how to talk without selling something. The words land like a punch. She sways slightly. That's not fair, she says, quieter. It's not supposed to be fair, I reply. It's supposed to be true. Tyler shifts from foot to foot, uncomfortable. Look, Madison, maybe we should. She turns on him again. Shut up, Tyler. You ruined everything. He recoils. I didn't ruin anything. You said he was nothing. You said he was boring, predictable, spineless. Madison freezes, because now she realizes the one thing she never planned for. Tyler isn't on her side. He never was. He was there for the thrill, not the fallout. And now the fallout is radioactive. I step back, hands in my pockets, watching her scan the horizon for someone, anyone, who can fix this. There isn't. Not anymore. Because today isn't the day I lost my wife. It's the day she realizes she never actually had a husband, only a man who finally decided to stop existing in her shadow. And she's just now learning what happens when the shadow starts moving on its own. Part 5 will reveal what Madison does next. And it won't be what anyone expects. For a moment, Madison just stands there, eyes flicking between me and Tyler like she's trying to decide which version of her life she should salvage. The one she built with lies, or the one she destroyed with them. Then something inside her snaps. Not breaks. Snaps. You can almost hear it. She squares her shoulders, wipes the panic from her expression, and pulls on that fake confidence like a coat 2 sizes too small. Fine, she says, voice dripping with venom. If you want a war, Eric, I'll give you one. I'm not letting you humiliate me in front of everyone. I built this life. I built this name. You're nothing without me. There it is. The Madison I know, the queen of illusions. She doesn't take responsibility. She rewrites the script. She doesn't face consequences. She changes the narrative. In her head, she's the architect and everyone else is a brick. I nod slowly. That's the thing, Madison. You didn't build anything. You decorated the walls while someone else laid the foundation. Her jaw tightens. She hates metaphors mostly because she can't control them. Tyler tries to intervene again, voice weak. Madison, he's got lawyers, paperwork, recordings. Let's just leave before this gets worse. She laughs, not normally but hysterically. The kind of laugh you hear right before someone punches a mirror. Worse? She repeats, voice rising. Worse? My so-called husband is freezing my accounts, stealing my furniture, ruining my brand, turning my life upside down. And you're worried about worse? Tyler looks like a man realizing he's standing next to a grenade without the pin. He opens his mouth, but she's already moved on. Her rage needs a target, and I'm the only one stable enough to withstand it. You're a loser, Eric, she spits. A boring, pathetic, lifeless loser. You should thank me for staying with you as long as I did. No woman would want a man like you. No fire, no ambition, no confidence. I don't react. Reactions are fuel. I'm done burning. Instead, I tilt my head. That's interesting, because from what I remember, the last time you said those words, you were wearing nothing but lingerie you bought with my money. She blinks. Silence. She wasn't expecting that shot. Not today. Tyler coughs awkwardly, rubbing the back of his neck. Look, Maddie. Maybe insulting him isn't helping. She spins on him with the fury of a rattlesnake. Don't you dare tell me what to do. If you had half a brain, you'd be helping me fix this instead of standing there like some useless sidekick. Tyler takes a step back. Not physically, emotionally. The small but noticeable. The first piece of loyalty dislodged and tumbling. He looks at her differently now. Less smitten. More awake. Wow, he mutters. You really switch fast, don't you? Madison freezes. She knows exactly what he's implying. She tries to recover. That's not what I meant, Tyler. Baby, you know No, he interrupts, voice firmer. I don't know. I thought we were in this together. But the second something goes wrong, you throw me under the bus. If you weren't so spineless, she hisses, maybe the bus wouldn't hit you. And just like that, whatever illusion they had left combusts. Tyler's face drains of emotion. He stares at her like he's seeing her for the first time. Not the fantasy, not the thrill, the parasite wearing human skin. He steps away, palms up. You know what? I'm done. You're not worth this. Her face twists. Outrage, disbelief, panic, all trying to share space. You can't walk away, she screams. You don't get to leave. You don't get to abandon me. He shrugs. Funny. Isn't that what you did to him? He nods toward me. Madison's expression collapses. That sentence lands harder than anything I said. Tyler didn't mean to take my side. He just accidentally stepped out of hers. He walks toward his car, not looking back. Madison calls his name once, twice, then shrieks it, voice cracking like glass, but he keeps walking. Just before he gets in, he turns to me. For what it's worth, he says quietly. I didn't know it would get like this. I thought she was just unhappy. I nod. She was never unhappy. She was bored. He hesitates, then, good luck, man. You're gonna need it. He drives off. Madison watches the car disappear, her chest rising and falling like she's drowning on dry land. She braces herself against the wall, fingers digging into the brick. I hate you, she whispers, voice shaking. You've ruined my life. No, I say calmly. I just stopped letting you ruin mine. She looks up at me with something feral in her eyes. Not sadness, not guilt, hunger, not for love, for control. And that's when she makes a decision I didn't expect. A move so reckless it almost feels scripted. Madison storms inside the house. Not crying, not defeated, hunting, for something, for someone, for ammo. She's not done. Not yet. And I suddenly realize this wasn't the climax. This was the fuse. Part 6 will show what Madison finds inside and why it changes everything. The front door slams with a violence that rattles the glass. Madison doesn't move like a wounded woman. She moves like a wolf forced into a corner. Desperate, furious, dangerous. I don't follow her immediately. I already know where she's going. The house isn't a home anymore. It's a battlefield where every room holds a piece of evidence. Proof she pretended didn't exist. Proof she thought I'd never use. For months, I lived in silence while she lived in deceit. Silence is not the absence of weapons. It's the sharpening of them. I step forward, hands in my pockets, and enter the house. The movers are gone now, trucks full, engines rumbling as they roll down the road. Their job is done. Mine isn't. Inside, the house feels colder, emptier, like Madison's voice has been scraped out of the walls and replaced by something unfamiliar. Truth. I hear her slamming drawers, cabinet doors flying open, something crashing to the floor. She's not looking for comfort. She's looking for leverage. When I reach the hallway outside the office, I stop. There she is, Madison, barefoot now, robe trailing behind her like a torn banner, hair wild, eyes blazing. She's tearing through the desk drawers like a burglar. Where is it? She mutters. Where did you put it? Put what? I ask from the doorway, though I already know. She spins around so quickly the robe slips off one shoulder. You know exactly what? She hisses. My files, my contracts, my backup drive. It was here. It was all here. The drive. The digital shrine she thought protected everything. Messages, photos, voice notes, deals, her so-called insurance against anyone who dared cross her. The one she believed made her invincible. Daniel took care of that 2 weeks ago. It's gone, I say calmly. Her face cracks. Not breaking, not yet, but cracking, like a porcelain mask left in the sun too long. It can't be gone, she whispers. You wouldn't, you couldn't. You'd be surprised what a boring, pathetic loser can do when he stops believing you're worth saving. She freezes. Something flickers across her expression, recognition, maybe, not of the situation, but of me. The real me, the one she never bothered to learn. You hacked me? She asks, voice low. You gave me everything. I correct her. Passwords you reused. Notes you left open. Conversations you had in rooms where you thought silence meant safety. I was careful, she screams, slamming her fist on the desk. No, I say. You were arrogant. There's a difference. She steps closer, eyes narrowing to feral slits. If you think this scares me, you're delusional. I will rebuild everything you destroyed. I will make everyone see what you did to me. Go ahead, I reply. Tell them. Tell them how the husband you mocked for years finally stopped worshipping you. She shakes her head, laughing again. That manic, cracking sound that doesn't match the person she pretends to be online. You think you're winning? She asks. You're not. You just got louder first. Then she lunges. Not at me. At the bookcase behind me. She grabs a folder wedged between two binders, the one I left there on purpose. The one I knew she'd search for if the others were gone. She yanks it open and freezes. Inside isn't what she expected. No contracts, no threats, no dirt, just a stack of printed photos. Our first apartment, her laughing at a diner, our honeymoon, her asleep on my chest, me grinning like I'd found the sun. Memories, real ones, no edits, no filters, no lies. She flips through them with trembling fingers, each picture tearing another seam in the persona she stitched together over the years. This is pathetic, she whispers, but her voice isn't cruel now, it's unsteady. No, I say softly, that was love. She drops the photos like they burn. Why are you doing this? She asks, voice cracking. If you wanted out, you could have just left. You didn't have to destroy me. I step closer, not threatening, not triumphant, just honest. You weren't destroyed, I say. You were exposed. Her mouth opens, but no sound comes out. For the first time, she doesn't have a script. She stares at the scattered photos. Pieces of a version of herself she abandoned long before she abandoned me, and something heavy settles in the room. Not regret, not remorse, but recognition. She finally sees what she traded away. Not a husband, not a marriage, not a life, a witness to who she was before she became this. She steps back slowly like gravity changed again. Then she whispers, "You're not the man I married." I nod. You're right, I'm not. Because the man you married never existed outside your imagination. Her lips tremble. She inhales. And then, she smiles. Not sad, not broken. Something darker. Because Madison Lane Carter doesn't crumble. She recalculates. And that smile? That's her next move forming. I still have one thing left, she says quietly. I raise a brow. And what's that? Her smile widens, shark-like. A truth you don't know yet. The room tilts. For the first time today, it's my pulse that changes. What truth? Ask. She steps forward, close enough that I feel her breath. The reason I chose him, she whispers. The reason. Not boredom, not lust, not thrill. Something else. Something darker. Something I never saw coming. Part 7 will reveal that reason, and it will shatter everything he thought he knew. The reason I chose him, she repeats, eyes locked on mine, is the part you never saw, the part that makes all of this your fault. My jaw tightens. Nothing justifies what you did. She smiles slowly. I'm not trying to justify it, Eric. I'm explaining it. She steps closer, until there's barely a breath between us. You think Tyler was some random fling? She whispers. Some personal trainer who just happened to fall into my DMs? No, I chose him because of you. My grip on the doorframe tightens. What does that even mean? She tilts her head, studying me like a puzzle she's already solved. Do you remember? She starts. When you went through that rough patch at work? When your promotion got blocked? When your boss kept taking credit for your ideas? When you came home every night and sat on this couch talking about how trapped you felt? Images flash through my mind. Late nights, cold dinners, me venting, her scrolling, me thinking she wasn't listening. I remember, I say slowly. Her eyes glitter. You poured your heart out, she says. You told me everything. Names, details, how invisible you felt, how no one respected you, how you were too nice to fight back. There's a mocking lilt to her voice when she says too nice. I don't respond. I was bored, she admits flatly. Your pain wasn't interesting enough on its own. But your access, your information, the way people underestimated you, that was useful. My stomach knots. Useful for what? She leans back slightly, enjoying this. Do you remember how I told you I got a brand deal with that new fitness app out of nowhere? She asks. The one you said, wow, that was fast about? Yeah, I answer. That wasn't out of nowhere, she says. That was intentional. They were looking for people who could get inside certain circles, people close to certain companies, people dating people like you.
Hystere her.
You're lying, she chuckles. You're still hoping I am. That's cute. My mind races. Fitness app, tech investors, a pilot program with corporate wellness. I remember the email my company sent out about potential partnership discussions with some flashy startup.
No.
No way. You're telling me, I say slowly, that you got close to Tyler because he was their point man. She cuts in. He reached out to me first about the campaign. I did my homework on him and on you, and I realized something. You were connected to exactly the kind of ecosystem they wanted to break into. But you didn't know your own value. You were sitting on access and whining instead of using it. My pulse starts to pound in my ears. You weaponized our conversations, I say. She shrugs. I reused data. Call it what it is. So what were you doing? I ask, my voice harsher now. Feeding him information? Using my life as a pitch deck? Oh, don't be dramatic, she says, rolling her eyes. I didn't sell company secrets. I just nudged him. I told him who was insecure, who was greedy, who could be influenced. I told him which events to show up at, which people to charm. And it worked. He got deeper and faster. They loved him. My chest feels tight. You told him about my boss, I realize. About the VP. About the internal politics. She smiles. I told him where the cracks were. I swallow hard. Why? Her answer is simple. Because I needed options, she says. You were stuck. He was hungry. I decided to bet on the man who wanted more, not the man who just wanted things to stop hurting.
Hystere her.
So all those nights, I say slowly, when you told me, you're strong, you'll figure it out. You weren't supporting me. You were collecting intel. She doesn't deny it. She doesn't even blink. I picked Tyler, she continues calmly, because he was willing to be the villain in my story. He didn't care if people hated him as long as he ended up on top. Unlike you, you care too much. About fairness. About feelings. About doing the right thing. Someone has to, I say. She smirks. And that's why you were perfect for the first act. And he was perfect for the second. I feel something cold slide into my spine. What do you mean, first act? Ask. She walks past me, into the hallway, eyes flicking over the half-empty walls like she's reviewing a set. Do you know how much money there is in healing content? She says casually. In tearful confession videos, podcasts about toxic marriages, women escaping controlling husbands? My jaw clenches. You were going to turn me into content. I was going to turn us into content. She corrects. You break down. I cry on camera. I tell the world I lost myself trying to support a man who never loved me right. Projected revenue? Huge. Tyler plays the shadowy villain who love-bombed me while I was vulnerable. I walk away empowered. You walk away humiliated. Everyone clicks. A slow, sick realization washes over me. You didn't just cheat, I say, voice low. You scripted my collapse. She smiles, satisfied that I finally understands. You were never supposed to fight back this hard, Eric, she says. You were supposed to snap, maybe yell, maybe do something messy I could twist later. But this? Lawyers? Freezes? Trucks? I'll admit, this is new. I laugh once, but there's no humor in it. So let me get this straight, I say. You chose him because he was useful. You stayed with me because I was useful. You hurt me because it made a better story. She lifts her chin. Exactly, she says. And in that moment, something inside me finally stops breaking, because now I see it clearly. This was never about love lost. It was about a role I never agreed to play. And I'm done. Part 8 will be the final decision, and the last thing she never saw coming. For the first time since this war began, everything feels still. Not quiet, not peaceful. Still, like the air itself is waiting to see who walks away breathing. Madison stands in front of me, arms crossed, chin up, wearing that twisted half-smile that used to confuse me. The smile that made me think she knew something I didn't. The smile that once made me doubt myself. Now, it's just a mask trying to stay on a face that's cracking. "So what now?" she asks. "You think you've won because you took my money and scared off a guy who wasn't that serious anyway? You didn't end me, Eric. You just made me more interesting." Her confidence isn't real. The scaffolding. And scaffolding falls when the last bolt gets removed. The problem for her is, she doesn't realize the last bolt isn't in the house, the bank accounts, or even Tyler. It's in me. "You're right," I say finally. "You didn't lose because you cheated." She blinks, thrown off by the calm. "You lost," I continue, "because you underestimated the one thing you could never manipulate." She rolls her eyes. "And what's that?" I walk past her, into the living room, toward a small metal lockbox on the table. She notices it a second too late. "What is that?" she demands. I unlock it. Inside are 3 items: a USB drive, a digital recorder, a stack of NDAs with actual signatures. Her face goes pale. "You don't understand," she whispers. "Those aren't real. Those were drafts. They were evidence," I say, interrupting. "Proof of everything." She steps forward, voice trembling. "Eric, listen to me. If you use those—" "I already did." The sentence lands like a meteor. Her lips part. No sound comes out. Her throat works as she tries to form words, but reality doesn't cooperate. She finally manages. "To who?" "Everyone who matters," I answer. "Your brand partners, the agencies, the ones you tried to impress, the people you wanted to manipulate into funding the Madison Carter redemption tour." Her knees wobble. She grabs the edge of the table. You're bluffing." I shake my head. "I don't bluff." She swallows, panic rippling under her skin. "Eric, you don't understand the damage this will cause. You're throwing away years of work. My connections, my influence. You threw them away," I reply. "I'm just taking out the trash." She steps closer, voice cracking at the edges of desperation. "You can't do this. You don't get to rewrite the story." I meet her eyes. "That's where you're wrong. You never owned the story. You only sold it." Silence. Heavy. Suffocating. "And one more thing," I add. I pull out my phone and tap play. Her voice fills the room. "I could make him do anything. He's weak. He's scared. He'll never leave. I swear." Continue. "Tyler. But when he finally doesn't even realize he's just content waiting to be packaged. That will be my moment." Madison flinches. The recording as if struck. She covers her mouth with trembling fingers. "Eric, please don't." "No," I say, cutting her off. "This is the first conversation we've ever had where you don't get to lie." Then something unexpected happens. Her shoulders sag. Not theatrically. Not strategically. For the first time, completely. Why didn't you fight for me?" she whispers. I almost laugh. "That's the saddest part," I answer. "I did. You just never noticed because it didn't fit the script." She stares at me, tears finally spilling. Not pretty, not glossy, not camera-ready. Real. Raw. Human. But it's too late. The woman I loved once is gone. The woman in front of me is a product she tried to monetize. "I don't hate you, Madison," I tell her. Her breath catches. "I don't love you either." That one breaks her. She drops to her knees, not because she wants forgiveness, but because the thing she values more than anything, control, is gone. She looks up at me. "What do you want from me?" I take a deep breath. "Nothing." That word ends everything. Because you can fight anger. You can bargain with blame. You can manipulate guilt. But nothing? Nothing is a sentence with no appeal. I hand her a single envelope. Inside is a document. Her last choice. Her final freedom. Clean divorce. No alimony. No debts. No retaliation. Just an exit. She stares at it, trembling. "This is mercy," I say. "Something you never offered me." She signs. Not because she agrees, but because she has finally run out of script. I take the paper, turn toward the door, and step outside. The air feels different, not lighter.
Truer.
As I walk away from the house, the life, the lies, one thought settles in my mind. She didn't destroy me. She revealed me. And in that revelation, I finally met the man I was always supposed to be. The end.